Elise.
Hey, John.
Do you need anything before we start? Of course, I know the recordings already started. Just want to know if you guys, if you or when Judy joins, need anything.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Melissa Kiefer will have a presentation. Do you have that or?
I did not receive a copy of it. From my understanding, they were going to present it as they told me.
Okay, so she'll sh share it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Felice.
Hey, Judy.
Okay, so you're going to start off, right?
Sure, I can do that.
Great. Uh, After this is over, I have a couple of things to tell you.
Okay. Okay, so we're just waiting for Melissa Kiefer and those folks to show up. You're on mute, Judy.
I think just Michael Bradley is coming from Parks for the Esplanade.
Okay.
That's what Steve told me. While we're waiting, Sheena, can you unmute Sheena, please, John? Sheena, did you get a call from Jill Logan at the hospital today?
No.
Okay. She's going to call you tomorrow at an event they're doing
Okay.
in the ball field. Okay?
Yep. No problem.
Okay. I see Risa is here. Melissa's doing the presentation.
Should we wait or should we
So
get
we need to have Melissa, I think. I don't think Risa is prepared to do the presentation. Uh, can we unmute Risa Kaufman?
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Risa. Is
Hi.
Melissa coming
She
tonight?
is. I know she has a presentation prepared. I just gonna send her a message and let her know that we're that the quorum has
Okay.
gathered and people are waiting for her. So just bear with us. She should be on shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I see Ricardo is here. Oh, good.
Do you maybe want to start with Sheena's update and then?
Okay, maybe we'll start with Sheena and Robert first. They're both here.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Hi, Sheena, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well in yourself. So I'm gonna give you my update and then Rob will give you his. All right.
And Sheena, before we do that, I think we just need to formally welcome everybody to the Parks and Waterfront Committee tonight. I'm Felice Farber, co-chair of the committee, along with Judy Schneider, who all of a sudden I don't see, as co-chair. So John, do you want to just start with your initial
Yes.
talk?
Welcome. This is your first time joining us. You'll notice they're all currently muted, and I'll remain muted throughout the meeting except for the co-chairs as we move through to presenters with the agenda. Following the presentations, as we move through the agenda, co-chairs will call on members of the public wishing to speak. You'll proceed by going to the react icon on your device and pressing the raised hand button, not the wave or thumbs up, and those will disappear. Only press it once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. If you're calling on your phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute yourself. Be on the lookout for any prompt asking you to confirm a muting once the co-chairs call on you. Chat is available for technical support only to help with Zoom software problems, not to ask questions to co-chairs. They will not see the chat. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you will need to go to the participants section where you will find the raise hand feature there. Please do not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you. Chat means technical support.
Thanks, John. And we are welcomed now by Melissa Kiefer. So John, if you could unmute Judy, who is back on under Barry.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened to my computer, so I'm at Barry's computer now.
And then if you could unmute Melissa as well. And welcome, Melissa. You're unmuting her?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
I could also request, I can share. Hello, everyone. Apologies for my technical difficulties. Thank you, Ricardo, for the tip on logging in through my browser. I appreciate it.
There we go.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for having us today. I'm very excited to be here with myself for representing HSS and a few folks representing the Parks Department. We wanted to start with an update on our Kellen Tower project and then go into what I'm sure this group cares most about, which is the Esplanade improvements, but I'll go as quickly as possible around the Kellen Tower. We'll cover some of the site context for those who might not be familiar with the project, some recent updates, what we can expect in the next few months and the rest of the year, and then go into how you can get updates on the project. If you're interested, there's a few photos here, and I just wanted to highlight that the scaffolding around these columns is starting to come down. Last time we updated, scaffolding was all the way up to the top, and by the end of the month, the rest of the scaffolding is expected to be down around the framing of the new pedestrian ramp that we're building as a replacement. And then the other view is our north side of our facade for our building. The curtain wall is up all and around the building, except on the south side around the hoist. So the Kellen Tower is a 12-story, 94,000 square foot building. It is in this block here under construction. It is all program that's moving from existing places within the main hospital building or some of our other surrounding buildings, and allowing us to just make our facilities more right-sized to modern healthcare. We're also able to privatize the inpatient rooms. And so it shouldn't impact our volumes necessarily, but it's really allowing us to critically right size the private room ratios as well as add storage space and different support places to the main hospital building after Kellen's completed. We recently finished, as I mentioned, the facade work for everything except for the hoist run, which is this elevator you see here, which is helping us to deliver materials. Our wall framing is up, so we have walls in the building, which is very exciting for us. And we're working through finishing our elevators, which is critical so that we can start to use those to move materials and remove the hoist from the outside. And then below down here, if anyone is interested, the panels that you can see on the ceiling are going in, and that'll be what you see when you drive under it on the FDR drive. The flooring is a temporary platform that we have, but I think this will really add a nice, beautiful element to the FDR drive where some of the other buildings there are more open in terms of infrastructure. What you can expect upcoming. We have a very exciting milestone this coming Saturday. The new sky bridge that's rendered here on the 3rd level of the Kellen Tower that will connect to the 3rd level of our main hospital is going in overnight this Saturday from about midnight to 8 a.m. Into Sunday morning. This work will include closure of the FDR. We did unfortunately have to closed the southbound lanes last weekend as well, but had an issue with the crane, so we were unable to complete the work. So we are doing it again this Saturday, but we do have bolstered our mechanics that'll support us during this just to make sure we have all the support we need and can continue to finish that work on time. As I mentioned earlier, the scaffolding on the east side will be fully removed by the end of June. And our restoration of the pedestrian ramp is planned to commence in July. This is pretty much the exact same ramp that existed before, but we're rebuilding it from scratch with new materials. And we're planning to have it be completed in August. And Kellen Tower is expected to be watertight by September. For those of you who may want additional updates as we're doing construction for this tower, we have here our link to our website, and we're publishing our look aheads as we go through. I'll pause there in case anyone has questions on Kellen Tower, and then I'd love to give you an update on the parks Esplanade work and HSS Esplanade.
So you can raise your hand if anyone has any questions. Judy, you have a question.
No one else does. So when, Melissa, is there any kind of a date when you expect the hospital to actually building to be open for service?
Sure, yes. So we plan to finish construction this fall and go through the DOB certificate of occupancy process and inspections and have those in hand November, December. Then we'll have to go through the Department of Health process for the first 4 floors of our building. And we plan to have it open by March. The hospital is working through the specific programs. We have 3 types of programs. We have physician practices, some X-ray units, as well as inpatient units. And we're working on the exact sequencing of which we want to open first, but all by March of next year.
Okay, but not the entire building. You'll be opening it in parts, if I understand you correctly.
Yes, probably weeks or a month apart from those, just floor by floor, depending on the program schedule. It might end up being that we open it in a big bang, but we're open to phasing it as well.
That's very exciting.
And okay, just a question, the pedestrian ramp, did you say the construction would be completed by August or would be open by August? I think I missed that.
The construction will be completed by August for the pedestrian ramp, and then we'll have to go in, unfortunately, as the construction project started, obviously they had a lot of work to do. So we do want to go back and restore the beautification that we did in 2018 in this kind of where HSS's current building starts to 72nd, so that we can make it safe for pedestrian access. Because a few of the pavers are kind of coming up and there is a sinkhole that developed under the temporary ramp that we're planning to repair. So once those two safety measures are in place, our plan is to work to get the pedestrian access to the ramp open. And then we will continue the work northbound. But this will mean that the pedestrian ramp will be temporarily closed from July 7th. We were waiting until after the July 4th holiday for approximately 4 months.
Thank you.
So I'll continue now with the investment in the Esplanade. As I mentioned, HSS had previously improved 70th to 72nd in 2018. We are committed to going back and making sure that those improvements are preserved after we had a construction site on a portion of the area. So we will be doing that as part of our improvement work, and we will be starting that work in August once we have the site back for our landscape contractor who will be doing the work. Quinnell Rothschild Partners has been engaged as the landscape architect. They've done a phenomenal job and have worked through parks guidelines to help us design this park. And then at the community's request, just reminding everyone that we are going to be moving forward with the fitness equipment area on 75th Street, just north of the Con Ed building. I'll show you a nice picture of it here just to remind everyone. But the top diagram here you'll see is all the majority of the improvement that we'll be doing that's new. There's a little improvement we'll be doing to the south of this diagram that we had done from 2018. But you can see the Con Ed building is there, the blue area in the diagram above, and then pictured in more detail below is the fitness area. And we'll have some seating, loungers, as well as plenty of plantings and the paver improvements as well.
Could I just ask you again?
Of course.
Could you show that diagram that you just had up?
Of course.
I switched back to my computer. Barry fixed it for me. So now when did you say that you're going to start working on the Esplanade part?
If I can go to the next page, that has more details of the schedule, just to show you how we're planning to sequence.
I thought you did that already. I'm sorry.
No problem. So phase one, or what we're calling phase one, we're really thinking about this in 4 phases of work. We tried to condense our complicated phasing into a more digestible plan. So mid-block 70th to mid-block 73rd, we're planning to start in August as soon as we kind of get the existing Kellen Tower construction site back and the new permanent ramp is installed. And that work will proceed through January of 2026. And as I mentioned, as soon as we finish the repair work that's needed to make the entrance to the new permanent ramp safe for everyone to enter and use, we'll reopen that again, approximately 4 months starting in July 7th. And then the second phase, we're going a little out of order. We'll be doing this area between 75th to 76th. And that would start in September. So there is overlap between the work that we are doing into about March of 2026. Our phase 3, and we want to do the middle last because we want to make sure that we don't destroy the nice, beautiful pavers we're adding in, because that's our entryway for materials to bring them in and out of the site. So that would be mid-September. So it'll be starting a little bit later than phase 2 and then go to February of 2026. This will also include a few traffic barriers around the Con Ed building, which are currently chains, and we're just making them a little bit more sturdy and typical for what DOT looks for. And then the 4th phase, the timing is a bit up in the air, but we can speak to that with Ricardo and Erin, who have joined us, I believe. But currently, I believe the Parks Department was in the procurement phase of their stabilization project, which includes the area between 76th and 81st. And that has their bids due in July and estimated to be completed around October of 2026. So HSS couldn't start with the last 2 blocks until that time. And we're talking about who is the right person to complete that work. And then the last piece of this diagram that I think everyone will be interested in are these green bubbles. which I've used to note the sinkholes that we're aware of. The sinkholes are not as big as the green bubbles, but I just wanted to make sure everyone could see them on the diagram. One has already proactively been addressed at 74th Street by, I believe, DEP. The south one on 70th Street, we will be doing as part of working through the restoration of the access to the ramp at 71st with whatever requirements Parks and DEP ask us to do. And then the more northern one, I think we just have to, Parks, I believe, is integrating this into their project, but Michael, you can keep me honest there.
Okay, before anyone else talks, it was my understanding that that first sinkhole in the phase 1 was going to be done with the other sinkhole in phase 2 and phase 4. Are you now saying the hospital is going to fix the 70th Street sinkhole?
We're committed to infilling them so that pavers can be put on there.
But is that doing the work underneath so that the sinkhole doesn't collapse again? Because
No, we're not
one
taking
at
that out of structural work.
78th or 76th, I don't know. I can't give you the exact location.
Around
Trisha can.
76.
Yeah, that's fallen in once already. They fixed it once and it fell in and now it's being fixed again. So we don't want that. If you're just doing some kind of temporary work on 70th Street, fixing it from underneath, and maybe some of the parks people who are here, I don't know if Michael Bradley's here or whoever can address that, or if Robert knows. Is there going to be a permanent fix under the 70th Street sinkhole?
I'll let Parks speak to that.
Is there someone here who can address that?
I thought a few people were joining.
Oh, I see Michael Bradley is here. Maybe we can unmute him if he knows, or if Ricardo knows, or Rhett knows. Could we unmute our parks people, John?
Hi, Judy. Yes, I was trying
I
to
think
unmute myself
Arit,
before.
Michael, and Ricardo look to be on.
Yes. If Aret is unmuted and can join in, he's Aret Ackwork is in our Capital Division managing the sinkhole repair and could address what's needed at 70th Street. Aret, are you there? Can
I think he's still on.
Yep, I'm unmuted. How you guys doing?
I think someone might have maybe two devices on or something. Maybe that's why there's an echo. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Aret.
Sorry, so this 70th Street sinkhole we've investigated with dive inspections as well as topside investigation, and we've not come up with a solution on why this sinkhole keeps happening. So we're still in the kind of investigatory phase of this. The project that I'm working on, 76 to 81st, has a couple sinkholes in it as well that we feel we have the answer why the sinkholes are happening and have the proper solution. But at this time, we're still trying to investigate the 70th Street sinkhole.
Okay, so those sinkholes from 76 to 81st. So do you have bids out on that project?
Correct.
Okay, but there isn't. So right now there's just a temporary solution to fix 70th Street, but we really don't know how severe the problem is, and there's no bid out for a permanent repair yet. Is that correct?
Correct. There's no bid out for 70th. We've been trying to work with our consultant designer who's working on 76th to 81st to
Right.
see if there's some type of repair that we can do.
Okay. Now, when eventually you're going to come up with an answer to this problem, do you have the funding to repair that, or is that additional funding you need to get, that Parks needs to get?
We don't have any funding allocated towards that at this time.
Okay, so we're going to be needing to go to our electeds or whoever to get that. That's really important. Is there any reason, Michael, maybe this is a question for you, that we can't start asking for funding now because we know that 70th Street hole has to be repaired permanently? What the hospital is doing is only a temporary solution.
Sorry, I had muted myself to see if I was causing the echo before.
No, you're fine now.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself again. But somebody magically helped. I just put in the chat what I think is the answer to that question, Judy, which is that HSS has committed to fix the 70th Street sinkhole, and we will work with them to identify what the proper design solution is for that.
As long as it doesn't include structural repairs to the seawall.
Well, but I think that's what we're talking about, a structural repair. Will HSS, or is that something that has to be discussed further between Parks and HSS? Who's going to pay for this?
I think we'll probably have to discuss that further, but I think we're willing to infill it.
Yes, so but I'm calling that a temporary repair because until, Michael, your technical people that are working further up get underneath there and take a look at it, because we know what's going to happen. You're going to infill it, and then eventually it's going to get a lot of use, and we're going to have another sinkhole.
Well, we want to avoid that situation, absolutely. So as soon as we know what's caused the problem, I think we'll be able to identify how it's going to get fixed.
Oh, further. So then, as far as 70th Street goes, because I see Jennifer's hands up already, Ratner, and I know that's her big thing. On 70th Street, you folks will be getting back to us within a few months after everybody's looked at it, and you decide what needs to be done and whether we need more funding, whether the hospital's going to fund it or whatever. This is something to come back probably in the early fall, maybe October. We'll come back on this issue and we'll discuss it further. But I think it'll
be easier at that time because the temporary ramp will be down, so it'll be easier to access.
Right. So I think we have enough information on 70th Street for tonight. This is as far as we can go until you folks do a little bit more studying, and I'll talk to you both about putting you on maybe the October agenda. Okay.
And I think Ricardo has his hand up and wants to add to that.
Can we
yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. I might have been the cause of the echo, by the way. We actually viewed the sinkhole yesterday. Michael and Bradley, Mary Evelyn, and I took a walk, and we saw it, and it's grown since we last saw it, and it's gotten very big. And what I could observe is that it looks like there's an outflow pipe going in that very area. And I know that when DEP fixed one of our other sinkholes, it's because it was one of their outflow pipes that was responsible. So it may turn out that the outflow pipe, which is often the case, is the cause of the sinkhole.
So what you're saying, it may be a DEP problem.
It may be DEP's problem and responsibility.
Okay, so
fix it.
I'm
I'm
assuming
assuming
that by
that by
October,
October,
you will be
you
in
will
touch
be
with them.
Yeah, I think Ricardo is muted now because
Yeah.
it was the cause of the echo.
No, I think, oh,
It was Ricardo. Sorry.
okay. Okay, so Michael, is that correct? If it's necessary, you'll get in touch with DEP, and when you come, we're gonna plan to put you back on for October as far as the 70th Street sinkhole goes, because I know that's a big issue for the community. That you'll be in touch with them if it turns out it's their responsibility. That's
Oh,
causing-
absolutely. If it's their infrastructure, they need to fix it. And they did just fix the problem at the sinkhole at 74th Street.
Okay. Okay, so then we're done with 70th Street for now. And we'll plan, is October a good time for you all to come back on just that one issue? The 70th, to give us an update on the 70th Street sinkhole?
Happy to.
Others besides me will have to answer that because I will have been retired from parks well
Oh.
before then.
Okay, we will miss you, Michael.
Thank you, Judy. I'll miss you and Barry and everyone at Board 8.
So Ricardo, or Arette, I assume that you'll take it over with HSS and DEP if necessary? Is Arette still with us?
Yes, I was still on the call.
Okay, I'd like to hear if he's with us on that. Is he muted?
Will,
I was just able to unmute.
Okay.
By October, we would have already talked to DEP if it was their infrastructure and have a plan moving forward. Yep.
Okay, so fine. Everybody knows we're done with 70th Street. That'll be on our October agenda to be moving forward on that issue. Okay, anything else that you want to present, either the hospital or the park on the Esplanade? Because I think that's the biggest thing for the community is the Esplanade work.
Judy, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but someone named M.A. I'm not sure who that is, but they said they're from the Parks Department as well.
Okay, so let's unmute them. Maybe they have something to contribute.
Oh,
Hi, everyone. This is Mary Evely from the Parks Planning team. Sorry, I thought I renamed myself, but I think I lost service and it reset to MA. I'm replacing Mike Bradley on this project after his retirement. So nice to meet you all. Judy, I've met you before. I presented about Pier 107 Bobby Wagner Walk. I think it might have been earlier this year or last year. So nice to meet you all, and I'll be there in October in place of Mike, along with Ricardo and Arette.
Okay, that's great to know. Okay.
Mary, your camera isn't on, so no one can see you.
Yes, I am aware of that. My service is really poor right now, so I'm just trying to keep myself connected. But nice to meet you all.
I just want to say thank you to Michael for all the good work you've done over the years with parks. We've really enjoyed working with you, and you've been terrific. So, Mary, welcome, but we'll miss you, Michael.
Well, thank you, Judy. That's very kind. And I have enjoyed working on the projects along the East River and this community board and to the south. And I certainly hope to walk completed project sometime later this year.
Okay. So, Melissa, did we cut you off? Is there anything else that you want to talk about on your presentation tonight?
That's the update I had.
Okay, well, thank you.
And Jennifer, you have your hand up?
Hi, thank you. So I'm Jennifer Ratner. I am the board chair of Friends of the East River Esplanade, or Esplanade Friends. And just from the get-go, I want to say a few things. I want to say appreciation to everyone from Parks and the Community Board and HSS, because obviously this is an extremely complicated problem. But I want to correct a few things. So Judy referred to this as being, quote unquote, my big thing, meaning Jennifer Ratner's big thing. This is not my big thing. This is an issue. The fact that our contiguous park has been cut off for 4 seasons, 4 years. So it was spring and summer of 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and then now it looks like it's going to be at least another full-on season. This is our contiguous park, our very precious green space in this densely populated area that's starved for green space, ranks among the lowest in all of New York City. And there is no link now between East Harlem, where people have even less green space, and the new beautiful East Midtown Greenway. So it's not my issue. We have almost 500 people who have signed a petition asking for this area to be reopened so people can bike, walk directly through so that it's contiguous, so they don't have to go on some crazy detour to just get back to their park, to their contiguous green space waterfront park. And besides the almost 500 people that have signed our petition, we have literally thousands of people who have asked us about this. It is the number one issue that we get requests about at our events, where we have hundreds to sometimes 1,000 people at our events, and people just barrage us with, why is the East 70s still closed? So the fact that we're still talking about, like, oh, we're going to look into it, and I understand it's a complicated issue, but I, behind the scenes, was told about this issue before the construction even started. And I can, send you documentation of that. So we're talking about before HSS put a massive structure on it. And you don't have to be an engineer to know that that must have contributed to the exacerbation of the sinkhole at 70th Street. Nobody, you can ask a kid and they'll be able to figure that out. So in my opinion, whatever it takes, HSS, just like other organizations that have used green space for free as a staging ground for a, what did she say, Melissa, 94,000 square foot building. A 94,000 square foot building was staged for free on our public park for free. And I understand you're putting in,
Jennifer, though, if I may, it wasn't for free. We're paying a fee for every month we keep it closed past 6 months, and we already allocated a portion of that fee to add lighting to the Alice Ilcock Pavilion.
Okay, and we appreciate that, and I get it, but it still was put over. It doesn't matter. I don't know what the fee is. It's a priceless green space to our community, to thousands, tens of thousands of people. It's a priceless green space. And whatever it takes, just like other organizations that have done construction, and I'm not going to name them publicly, but they have come through when things have appeared that are, when it becomes clear that this is going to be dragged out, and they have either made a contiguous walkway over the waterfront. That's been done all over the city, done like something floating out over the waterfront. It's expensive and it's not my money, but it is the community's green space. And this is really a travesty that we're in our 4th season of closure for people. You're closing off East Harlem. We get a lot of complaints from people in East Harlem. They can't access. They say, we've never been down to the new gorgeous East Midtown Greenway because it's cut off. So,
okay. Thank you, Jennifer. I think we appreciate the sentiment and we understand the point you're trying to make. And we're glad to see that they're looking to resolve this issue and hopefully it will be open shortly. So really appreciate you continuing to push forward on this issue.
I have one other question for Melissa. Melissa, has anyone spoken with you or have we made any progress about cameras on the area that you're working on?
We have not, Judy, but I will reinvigorate that again now that we're getting closer to being able to more permanently be able to walk around the Esplanade, at least as a
Okay.
construction site.
So maybe in October, that's something
In
else.
October, yes, I will work with NYPD to see if we could
Okay.
get some.
And you know who the contacts are there, right?
I do.
Okay, great. That's terrific. Thank you very much.
Happy to.
Thank you, Melissa. Will you be able to share the presentation with us?
Yes, I will. I'll share it shortly.
Terrific. Thank you very much. There are no other questions. Should we move on, Judy?
Yes, we can. And just again, want to thank all the parks people and thank Michael for all his good work.
And congratulations on your pending retirement.
Yeah. And welcome, Mary, in filling in Michael's spot.
Thank you all. I'm not disappearing, so I just won't be working for the city of New York, and I do have a piece of myself still invested in the East Side Waterfront. So
okay, well, I'll give
we'll
you
see
a
it turn
call
out
this
well.
week, Michael, and find out a little bit more about your plans.
Okay, well, I apologize for missing your occasional calls, Judy, recently.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready now, I guess, to go. Who wants to go next? Either Sheena or Robert? Sheena. Okay. Sheena, who is our district manager for CB8 and the Esplanade, is going to give us a report.
Good evening, everyone. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So on June 1st, our mayor appointed Iris Rodriguez Rosa as the new city's parks commissioner for Parks and Recreation. She succeeded Miss Sue Donahue, the first Hispanic Latin person to lead the agency. So hands up to her. So that was a good thing that happened. So as we all know, on June 26th, the Gotsman Pool Rink will open. It's the old Laska Rink, Laska Pool will open at 11 a.m. for pool operation. That's the opening pool for the city. On June 27th, all city pools will open. So every year we choose a pool that we open up before the rest of the city opens. And this year it's Scottsdale. So at 24 Sycamore, we will be we have turned on the spray showers there. And it's going to work. It's on an independent line, so it has nothing to do with the restroom closure. So that's how we are able to cut on the spray showers. So the restrooms are still out, and we're still working on trying to get things going to get the restrooms back up in order. So Max is still working with DOT, actually DOT and DEP to rectify this problem, but it's very costly. So Carl Schultz Park, the dog run, has started the renovation. It was started June 9th, and hopefully it'll be completed soon. But it started for the new dog run. New turf, better drainage, some benches, some new benches. The benches that were there, that were inside there, we're going to move them along the East River, the Esplanade, the promenade. So we're going to add additional benches to the promenade.
Shannon, is that for the large, sorry to interrupt you, is that the large dog run?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On Saturday at Carl Schultz, we're also having Family Fun Day. So everyone could come out and enjoy. Praying there's no rain. Praying we don't have to cancel. But as it stands now, we're gonna have Family Fun Day at Carl Schultz. Samuel Seabury. The scaffolding came down on May 28th. And so we opened it back up to the for the public use. Thank God for that. We were so down with that thing being cut off for a portion of a good over a year that was only supposed to take 6 months. We're also adding this Saturday a mural to Samuel Seabury in the multi-purpose area, the schoolyard, the school, the PTA, and a host of volunteers, including our partnership from Parks, will be on site on Saturday, praying it just doesn't rain and we don't have to reschedule. But we are putting a mural there to bring some light to the area. And it's going to be blue, a pretty color blue that was chosen by the PTA and approved by the parks. The mural was approved by our parks commissioner, our Bronx Borough Commissioner, Tricia, and hopefully we'll be able to get it done. And on Saturday, so if anybody is available, they can just come out and join us and see how it turns out. This was also the funding was donated by Councilmember Julia Menon. So we were able to get the paint and all of the material for this project through her generosity to the parks and to the partnership and the PTA school for the school there. Steve asked me to inform everybody that there is some capital funding. He put in a request for Samuel Seabury, approximately 2.7 million federal grant through the Congressman Nadler office to renovate the multi-purpose area for Samuel Seabury. So hopefully that'll come to fruition, and we'll soon have a new schoolyard at Samuel Seabury, which is definitely needed. Rupert, like everybody wants to hear Rupert. We are starting the green market there. It was supposed to start last Sunday, and we didn't see it up, but it's supposed to maybe this Sunday it'll start. We're gonna have the green NYC market that's coming on Sundays, every Sunday, to Rubric. They'll be utilizing that space until their space where they were previously at. There was some scaffolding and I guess around the surrounding areas that there's some work had to get done, so they had to relocate, and they chose Rubric Park to do, to continue to serve the public. So they'll be there until we start renovation. Their renovation is completed. And they are quite aware of this taking place. If our renovation was to take place, they will have to relocate to a different area if their space is not ready for them to use. So St. Catherine Park, we had a beautiful event last Saturday. Weeding, planting, spreading some wood chips, painting of the park house, which looks marvelous. And we thank everyone that came out and all the donations from the councilmen and our partnerships from parks to help. That helped out to make it look decent. The park house looks amazing, and I thank you, Miss Judy, for putting that together at the last minute and getting the funding and getting the people to come out and do so. We will touch up the top part as you requested. I've gotten the paint for them and the poles for them to be able to do so. But that was it looked really nice. A lot of people enjoyed it, and it definitely looks. And I'm going to work on the inside. So that's my report. If anyone has any questions, I'm here to answer.
Well, I just also want to add to that, our head gardener injured his leg. So Lexi from Partnership for Parks really took over and directed all the gardening and everything. And we're very, very appreciative of that. It's not something he usually does, and he just did a fabulous job. And also we had a puppet show at 11:30. And then afterwards, the puppeteer showed the children how to make cutouts and mount them. And it just was a wonderful day. And I have to report the rain really cooperated. It didn't start to pour until about
later.
2:30. It was perfect.
Perfect timing.
Perfect.
Thank you, Sheena. Just one question. Rupert Park reconstruction. Where are we in putting that out to bid, getting the bathrooms started?
So for Rupert, it's we're very close. DEP does have the SWIP. They do have it. Steve is really on top of it. He's really pushing, right? Because we need that to go through. We need DEP to approve that. And once that's approved, then the fun part starts, right? We're able to, move into the area where we can start putting things out for bids and things like that. But we need that report to be satisfied before we can move anywhere. But they do have it. We did submit it. According to Steve, we did submit it. So he is working very rigorously on it. We talk about it almost every day. I think he's probably starting to duck me because I'm talking about it all the time. I want it just as bad as everybody else wants it. I really do. I'm just, we just have to be a little patient because this is how the city operates, and there's no one I can talk to, he can talk to really say complete it, right? It's a process that has to run through. But we're getting close, though. We're getting close.
Well, I do want to say I was on another CB8 meeting where we had the DEP commissioner from Manhattan on, and I asked him to follow up with Steve, and then Steve told me it went out to them. The paperwork went back to them. So I'm now trying to follow up with the DEP commissioner to see if they can't get their approval back to the Parks Department as soon as possible, so that it can go out for bid.
And Sheena, do you know the status of the DDC project for the restrooms?
No, I do not. It's usually doesn't happen at the same time. It usually happens maybe 9 to a year after the park is already completed. The projects are done separately. They're two different contractors. So
are you doing the bathrooms first and then the park?
No. The park is going to be done first, right? The park is going to be done first, and then right after the park opens, that section that they're going to leave out, cut out for the restroom, will be then they'll come in and and do the restroom, the big, it's done like that for all of the projects, for a few years now. The park is done, and then they'll close it, to close up a section of it to do the restrooms. I believe like all of the status for the restroom has already been done. I can check up on that, but I think we were already satisfied with that. but that is going to come later. It always is a year after.
I have to
the
tell
park.
you, I've been talking to Evie McEvely, who's now head at DDC, and I explained to her what the situation was with Rupert, because that's one of the 6 parks that they have a contract for, and they started in June, and they have 18 months from the time they start to complete. And I said to her, in 18 months from now, you may not be able to do the work in Rupert because of what was going on with DEP and the SWIP. So she's aware of that, and she said she would be in contact with Steve at Parks to see what they could work out. That may have to be removed from this particular contract they're in, or delayed, whatever. So I am following up with her on that, and if I get any word, I'll let you know, Felice, and I'll let you know, Sheena.
Great.
Okay, I hope it doesn't get removed, because if it does get removed from this contract, then it will be a very long time
Yeah.
until
Well,
we get a bathroom back.
her only problem is that she has to finish in 18 months or she's out of contract if she doesn't. And I don't see her, even if she leaves Rupert, to be the last bathroom. And even if DEP gets back to you with all the SWIP approval, by the time you go out for bid and everything, I don't think you'll be ready within 18 months for them to come in.
So maybe one thing, maybe, if great minds come together, they can work on this project together.
Okay.
I'm sure that's probably something we can work out. I would hate to see that happen, that we will lose the restroom for that. It's needed in this area. It really is.
Desperately.
It's needed. It definitely needed. So okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm gonna really be on it, because this is really needed. It's not really our fault that it's taking so long, and I hate to lose the funding for this. They are doing another project in mines and starting in September in my other district, so that one's starting in the fall. So
I am concerned that it's taken so long that by the time this goes out to bid, you're not going to have enough money, because the bids will come in over your available.
no, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Steve has worked really hard at this. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. But let's see if we can have them work together on this project. Or maybe we can just have them start early. Maybe with the bathroom. It's not that that it can't get done. It's just that they usually don't do it that way. Really, they don't. But the Seabury was 24 Sycamore was done first. And now we're gonna do the park at 24 Sycamore soon. So it's not like it can't happen. It's just that we have to talk to the powers that be to make sure that this can happen. So even if we start that project first, let's see if we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see there's Celeste Garson has her hand up, and of course Rita. John, can you unmute?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I've been on Welper for some reason. I had trouble unmuting, but no, I know I'm going back a little bit to the beginning. I've lived on East End Avenue for 13 years. I moved in with my family, and you probably addressed this earlier. So my first question is just what do we project is the end date where I can bike with my family from where I live on 82nd safely all the way down to the 50s. I also have a child with special needs, and I don't feel comfortable going into traffic with him. And this has been like a safe place where I can actually get some exercise with him. And I feel like this has been going on for years. And I know you addressed it earlier, but is there really a deadline date? Because I know they have signs up and it says this date, and then it gets extended another few years. And it was like one of the most amazing things about my neighborhood, why we moved in there, because we had this access to the waterfront where we could, utilize it on the weekends. So I don't know if you addressed that. So that's one of my questions. And my other question is, Also, there's been a homeless person that's been living on the promenade, like by say between 82nd and 83rd Street. And I don't like feel safe when I take walks at night. There's like it's like a mattress, there's pillows, there's a lot going on there. And I don't know if there's ever if that's ever addressed when somebody's like has permanently staying there and they have bedding everywhere.
Is that,
yeah.
is that under the scaffolding?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We have done numerous homeless removal. The problem is that once we do the remove and they move out and they leave, they come back. Right. And so this is an issue all over throughout the city. It's just not enough resources to help a lot of the homeless people. They don't want to go into any shelters because they don't feel safe, and they're very take they chances out on the street.
Right.
And it's an ongoing thing throughout the city. When we see it, we schedule it, we remove them. Unfortunately, the sad thing about it is that they come back. We just don't have enough resources to leave anyone there to not allow this to happen. The
Right.
parks,
Yeah.
it's a sad
I
situation all
know.
around.
No, I get it. I just get more nervous on the promenade because there's very poor lighting in that area with the scaffolding. And if I'm taking a walk, stroll with my son, I just get like, I feel like it's more isolated than if you're in I guess, a street where there's more people around. Okay. So and then the other thing is, again, I just want to address like the waterfront area. That's been extremely frustrating. And I see people that start biking there, with families too, and they realize they can't go any further and they have to go back. And then it's so wonderful that we have this new waterfront on 51st Street. And then we did all that construction on 63rd, and we have those great music performances. But the only way that I can access it is to go 2 avenues out of the way into the street and then backtrack. Like it's sad that we have all these beautiful renovations, and we put all this money into expanding the waterfront, and then you can't even access it. So I know you went back and forth, but is there really a deadline date that's going to be that HSS is going to stick to, or I'm not sure, or I'm still unclear.
I don't know that HSS is still here, or the other parks people who were working on this project. I don't know, Sheena or Robert, you probably don't have an answer. I don't think we know what the completion date is for that piece in the 70s. Celeste. I think you should come back to our October meeting and hear that. And also, in October, I believe it's October, we're going to be hearing the Brearley School and the improvements they're going to be making at 83rd Street.
Okay. Yeah. Because it was, when I moved in, it was amazing. And now you can't access it. And then, 53rd, I wish I feel like they did this huge project on 53rd in such a short amount of time. And I still, it's just really, it's like, so I don't end up even going in that direction anymore. I just go to I guess I go up north, and of course it's falling apart along towards, Harlem too. So it's like you're stuck to the right, and then to the left you have to go around fencing, and it's not really safe for my kid.
Okay, and in September, it's not definite. We also have temporarily now hearing from 94th up to 14th Street, the final plans. I think right now we have that for our September agenda, whether that's actually going to happen or not. So I think some of these issues, I suggest people follow the community board agenda for parks every month and look at when some of these issues are going to be on the agenda, so that you can come to those meetings and get more information.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much
for coming tonight. And now, our former member, Rita Papa.
First, I want to apologize. I had the hardest time getting my computer to behave, like a half hour. Hey, I want to thank everybody for what they're doing for Rupert Park. We'll see. At any rate, a clarification, Sheena, the Green Market, am I correct that the Green Market is not inside River Park, but it is on the sidewalk
Correct.
around it?
Sidewalk.
So that is correct. Okay. And last but not least, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but I remember Dave Rosenstein, and this is really for Jennifer Ratner. Dave Rosenstein brought in pictures to Chuck Warren on DOT that they had pontoons that people could walk on or ride on and bypass the area that was being constructed or almost constructed or wished to be constructed, so that there was a contiguous walk down the Esplanade. Can we investigate it so that we have something versus nothing? Is that, I mean, I saw pictures of it. Unfortunately, Dave is no longer with us, so I don't have it, but I think Chuck Warren may be aware of it.
Well, I'll certainly check with Chuck. I remember because David is the main reason that Rupert is a New York City park. If it wasn't for him, that wouldn't have happened. But I don't remember about the pontoons. I don't know, Sheena or Robert, if you're aware of this. And certainly we can check. I've written down DOT to check with them to see if they can tell us if they have something temporary that we could use out in the water.
That would be the first I've heard. I've never heard of that. It's probably a little before me. So I can ask. I can definitely ask.
Yeah, I think we should check all our different sources and see what we can come up with. But by the October meeting, we should have more of a handle as to when where we are with dates on the Esplanade work in the 70s. So I think that's a good move. Okay, there's a Sierra Reed has her hand up.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Sierra Reed, and I am coming from as a member of the public. And I did miss out on part of the Esplanade update, but I'm just wondering, come October, what are my options, I suppose, as a citizen and a member that's here for pushing for more from the Esplanade, because I've lived in the neighborhood for about 4 years myself, and having no access or like limited access just feels really unacceptable as a taxpayer. So like what do we do after that when they come to us and say, oh, we're going to be out of commission again for another season, like next year? Because I feel that that's where this is heading.
Well, it might be because there's a question of funding. And this is really, if it needs major reconstruction underneath, fixing the pilings, that's major work, and there has to be funding for it. And particularly the piece at 70th Street now. That's why HSS has to work with parks and see maybe there's part of that the hospital can pick up. It seems like the Parks Department has part of it covered. So between now and October, Felice and I will be talking to our various people to see when we come back in October if we can have some more definite answers how this project is going. Okay. But I don't think we can give them to you tonight. Okay, but thank you for asking and thank you for coming. Please come back. Okay, Jennifer, you've already spoken once. We'll call on you again, but try and make it brief, please.
Yes, hi. Well, I'm really speaking on behalf, I appreciate the last few sentiments. I'm really speaking on behalf of our petition signers who continue to sign tonight, cannot come on the meeting. We've gotten many who've signed actually tonight alone. Again, it's close to 500 and thousands of people who are asking for something just like Rita said, Copper suggested. Pontoons are a standard for waterfront blockage detours around the world, actually. But HSS has not wanted to pay for it. They want to just, this is really unacceptable, to echo Sierra Reed. Like this is supposed to be a contiguous waterfront, and it's not really a question of funding. If you're using a public park as a staging ground, and I appreciate that HSS contributed to the lighting, but if you're using a public park, a greenway as a staging ground, then the entity who's built a 94,000 square foot building and who I love, HSS, has to come back and do the infrastructure repairs, because this has gone on now, not for 1 year, not for 2, not for 3, for over 4 years. We're looking at 5 years of staging when it was anticipated that it would only be 1 year to start. And, people have forgotten that. And our group, Esplanade Friends, has been advocating for this for years now, not months, and the can keeps getting kicked down the Esplanade, literally.
Okay, well, we will be working on it. We will be talking to all the parties involved and see if we can come back with some kind of really more concrete answer for the October meeting. And there's a lot involved here. This is not just a very simple repair. It's a very involved repair because Parks has made these repairs and sometimes they haven't held up and they've had to make them again. So we will talk to all parties, Jennifer, involved.
I know, but Judy, with all due respect, this has been going on. This isn't just
Jennifer, I know.
So Sierra, I urge you, we're going to get the news media more involved. If you're interested, you can email us. We've had already articles in our town, many press articles, WPIX, and we're trying to get more press coverage of this to really put pressure on the Parks Department and on HSS, honestly, to get this done faster. So feel free to reach out to us.
Okay. We still have Robert's report. So, Robert, what do you have to tell us?
Well, we have some good news here. We've had a problem for about 3 years getting some information about the lights that have been out on the walkway from 77th Street to 81st Street between the East River on the east side and the FDR on the west side. So we just brought this to the attention of the DOT Deputy Borough Commissioner, who promised to send the lighting contractors there. And that was just given to me by Steve a couple of days ago. Also about the bids. The bids are now being solicited for the East River Esplanade Phase 3. The project is due July 1st. Okay, that's when the bids will be coming in. And this project covers the 3 sites in District 8, from 62nd Street to 63rd, 76th to 80th, and 90th Street to 94th. So we're hoping to get an acceptable bid for this project to move forward. And Sheena covered some of the things that I had, but by June 17th, we had put $1,000 worth of new plant material in the Honey Locust Park. So I had a volunteer group on June 3rd with 25 people, and then I'm going to have another group on the 17th. That would be next Tuesday. So after Tuesday, then we would have weeded the entire area and dropped in $1,000 worth of brand new flowering perennials. That's my report, because I've had some of the things with Catherine's Park and etc. But Sheena covered it before I did.
Okay, well, thank you. Locust is one of my favorites. I'm there every Friday. So glad to hear that you'll be doing more planting. That's terrific that you have volunteers for that.
Oh, yeah, no, and I know you may be interested in District 15 too, because we're putting in another $2,000 worth of plants and getting tools to start renovating the Esplanade. And I think the last time I talked to you, we had 5 interns. We now have 10 interns, so I'll keep them the
Oh,
whole
great.
summer.
Great.
Unfortunately, I'm working every Friday, every Saturday. That's not, my wife is barely speaking to me now, but we'll do a nice job, yeah, for you.
Okay, well, that's terrific. We're glad to hear it, because that area is being well used, and of course the dog run is there, etc.
Yeah.
I've had some questions about the dog run. Have you taken a look at that and that it might need a little touching up?
I
Have
have
you heard-
recommended it to them, and what I have heard is that they're pretty. You know, that's sort of their area, and I only make a couple of comments, and then I stop making comments. Yeah, I think it could be
Okay,
dressed up a
so
little
you
bit, but
mean that's something we need to talk to Steve about? Okay.
well, Steve. Well, what would you like me to do?
Well, I have to say, next month, for anyone that's interested, I hope everyone will be, we're doing the budget, and Steve will be here with us, and we will be reviewing all the parks, right, Felice?
Yes.
So we'll bring that up when we get to the Esplanade. We'll talk about the dog run and see if something can be done, or if he can look towards next year and the next calendar year, which starts soon, get some money maybe to fix that up a little bit.
Yes.
I don't think they've done much to it since it was originally put in. Okay.
I would agree to that.
And I want to remind everybody who's still on that in September, Steve is coming back with the renovation plan for 24 Sycamores Park. So, and that will be posted all around the park and around the area. And we hope people will come to have their input on the renovation plan they're going to be showing us in September for 24 Sycamores. That's really important. John, are there any other hands up that I can't see?
I don't see any.
No hands.
Okay. Well, if no one has any other business, then I want to thank Sheena and Robert for coming tonight. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. All right. We hope to see everybody in July when our main item will be the budget.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.